Lovely and dear Capricorns, this is your horoscope for July 2024, and July will be an amazing month. So start whatever is on your mind exactly in July, because all the planets will be in amazing support with each other, and of course in support for all the things that people are starting, humans starting. So July is perfect for all the beginnings and initiations. Because August we have Mercury retrograde, and as you might know, during Mercury retrograde, it's not advisable to start anything new, to sign any important papers, to buy anything expensive, or even to do plastic surgeries. All those things are not at all advisable. And also dental works, including all those things, are not advisable to do in in August. So better to do everything in July. You have a whole stellar month. Planets are in amazing support to each other. Let's go step by step from the beginning. And July, in general, July for you, my dear Capricorn, seems like will be very important month, because it will be focused, you will be focused on your relationships with other people, and especially the main relationships in your life with your committed partners, like your husband or wife or long-term partner. And also for some of you, it might be about business partnerships, whatever partners that we sign contract with. And also about yourself. What is your role in those relationships? What is your stance? What is your part? What kind of relationships you want for yourself, and in general your plans, your hopes for yourself in the future, and what kind of person are you portraying to the whole world. It's that axis between me and everything about myself, and which is another axis that is opposite to it is everything related to relationships with other people, and this axis will get activated by new moon and full moon, and this will color whole July topic for you, my dear Capricorns. Each month we have one new moon and one full moon, and exactly those moons will highlight your relationship with others and with yourself. Now let's begin with July, and July will start from the get-go, from 2nd of July, which is planetary active day, astrologically speaking. 2nd of July we have Mercury, because Mercury is the planet of signing contracts. Mercury is the planet of thoughts, of our ideas and information. Also, it's the planet of all the emails, sort of calls, and even commerce and trade. Mercury rules all those things, and we need it to be sharp, to be direct, for us to sign papers, to do like all the important agreements during when Mercury is direct. That will happen exactly in July, but do everything like before, like second half of July, because starting from second half of July, Mercury will start its shadow period. That period is some sort of a preparation for Mercury to go backwards, to meaning retrograding, slowing down things. And in August we will have all sorts of mismatches and miscommunication, and even like all sorts of mistakes, because Mercury will go retrograde in August. Now in July, Mercury on 2nd of July, it will move into your financial house, a house of money that you share with other people, and the money that comes to you from other people or from governmental institutions or financial institutions. Now Mercury in the 8th house, 8th house is all about investments, as I said, all about inheritance, because that is all things that are shared, that comes to you from other people. Also, 8th house is about your taxes and also bank loans, or any type of loans from any other financial institution that you get from the bank. It's again someone else's money, right? You see how it's coming into your life. And also 8th house is, it's one of our mystical houses. So 8th house is actually rules our psychological mental state, and kind of a critical situations house, this house. And among them is like, let's say, surgical interventions. It's a house of well-being, house of your health, 8th house. So when Mercury comes here, for some of you, it might be some news coming around your well-being. If you've been, going through checkups, communicating, let's say, with your doctor or your specialist about some sort of things that are bothering you, like around your health, then around beginning of July, 2nd of July, you might get, actually, Mercury will stay whole July in this 8th house. So it means that some of you might be busy around your health and seeing doctors, seeing some specialists, contacting them, or even they are contacting you, going for appointments. If you will be doing so, you will be doing great, because July is exactly for those things perfect month. Now For some of you, it might be about your investments, actually, about the money. It might be that if you want to buy something big, like together with your family or your husband or wife or anybody else, like shared funding, you might be applying to bank loans, like institutional, some sort of loans and mortgages, let's say, and all these things will come forward from the beginning of July. You might get busy because Mercury is the planet of papers, signing papers. You might be signing some agreements with the financial institution and with the banks to some sort of, to any actually purposes. And it's about your taxes. You might be busy with your tax return, applications, and back and forth, quite a lot of submissions, applications, and all those documents related to your taxes. The same, it's about investments. You might get involved. You might start studying something or learning something, or quite a lot of talking and thinking around your investments, especially for those of you who are like avid investors, especially into different financial instruments. It doesn't matter whether it's crypto or shares or bonds. For you guys, it might be about your investment whole July. And because, Mercury will stay for the most part of July in your 8th house, but it will move out by the end of July, on 26th of July, into your 9th house. That is a house of, search for the meaning of life, house of our higher mind, and house of travel, house of all things foreign, and all things legal also, and education. Everything that we do, like when we travel, when we study, and this expands our mind. That's why 9th house is mind expanding house, our higher mind. When we are looking for the meaning of life, that's what is 9th house is all about. Now, by the end of July, on 26th of July to be precise, Mercury will move into that house, out of your financial house. It's that time will be for you more about traveling. You might finally refresh, let's say, your life and think about travel. Maybe you might be planning like buying tickets and all sorts of things. Or for some of you, it might be solely about immigration related things, because all things to, 9th house is also immigration ruled house. Now, it might be about your citizenship or residence permits or visas. You might be applying or actually hearing back about your application. If you've applied already and you've been waiting, then around end of July, you might get the news about your application, whether it's a visa or residence permit or citizenship. It doesn't matter. Whatever is related, actually, like paper related to immigration and travel to another country and abroad. And if you're students, my dear Capricorns, for you guys, it will be all about studies, your education. It might be some news from your, universities that you've applied. It might be an acceptance letter. Or you might actually start your application to applying all those things. And you might start submitting applications to the universities that you wish to study. For some of you, it might be about legal case. Legal affairs are also governed by our 9th house. Now, if you're involved in a legal case or some processes, or you're just following some legal processes, then end of July will be quite active, and some news might be coming through around those legal cases or a legal case. Now, 9th house is also about publishing. If you are writing a book, or researching something and you're trying to publish your research, or it's just an article or a poetry, that you want to publish, it doesn't matter what are you writing. For sure, you are writing a masterpiece, as you, my dear Capricorns, are hard workers of the zodiac. And those masterpieces, you will get very busy around that. By the end of July, seems like you might be looking for an editor or publishing house, or you might be contacting them, or they might be contacting you if you're already working with a publishing house or an editor, editorial house, and they might be contacting you for some corrections or rewritings, or all sorts of related, your book or your work related things. Now, 8th house, that financial house that got activated by Mercury from the get-go of July, will be activated even more when Venus on 11th of July will move into that financial house, 8th house of shared money. Venus is the planet of love and beauty, but also Venus is the planet of money. And when it moves into your money house, it might bring some sort of presents. It might be, or you might be buying presents for someone else, because it might be someone else's birthdays or anniversaries. Also, Venus in the 8th house might indicate some investments coming through. If you've been investing, you might get some good returns from your investments. Or it might be also, first, let's say, scholarships that you are getting, or first portion of the money from the banks that you're going to be getting when Venus goes into your 8th house, which is happening on 11th of July. So Mercury and Venus from the beginning of July will be firing up this financial house, and also because it's a house of shared resources with someone else, your relationship with your better half might get improved as well, might get milder. And plus, before 11th of July, Venus was transiting your 7th house. You and your partner, like those relationships that are committed, guys, not those that you're dating, but those are committed, like you're with your husband, you with your wife, or like the long-term partner. All this time until 11th July, when Venus was transiting 7th house, it was amazing time, very romantic one. It was very amazing relationship between you, and sort of Venus was giving you that air of love between you and your partner. And when it moves into your financial house between you and your spouse or partner, then it might give you even more power, even more encouragement, and financial stability also. And for some of you, it might be about a business partnership. When Venus moves into your 8th house, it might be that you might get investment from a new business partner that you're forging, or that you're creating, or from some sort of interested person in your business. You might get some new sort of investments. Now, coming back to the 2nd of July, planetary active, a day of the month, Neptune, planet of magic and imagination, and also planet of intuition, goes retrograde, meaning moving backward on 2nd of July. Now, when planets are retrograding, they are moving backwards. Of course, in real life, no planet moves backward. It's just, the view from Earth. That's how it looks like. And that's how in astrology it's perceived, that planet is, slowing down, moving backwards, and meaning, slowing its influence, but never, planet never stop influencing your lives. Now, Neptune will go retrograde in your house of, siblings. And if you have them, like brothers, sisters, or inner circle of relatives, and also house of neighbors, 3rd house. 3rd house is also all about skills, our talents. Like maybe you might be advancing your skills, or going back to those skills that you had, let's say, but you've stopped working on them and developing them. And Neptune here will retrograde until 8th of December, pretty much of end of the year. So for the next half of the year, Neptune will retrograde, and Neptune will repeat, after Saturn, bigger brother. Saturn is the planet of discipline and hard work that went retrograde on 29th of June, a couple of days before, right exactly in the same house of 3rd house in your chart. So these two planets, Neptune and Saturn, they are located in your 3rd house, and they are moving backwards for the next half of the year. Now, Saturn will move retrograde until 15th of November. So pretty much same timing, for both of them. These two planets are karmic planets. Their influence is like more on a subconscious level, more on the background kind of noise, their influence is like felt on a level of like mentality, like what you think, time to time popping up in your mind about the topics of your 3rd house, about which I will tell you in a second. And these planets, not necessarily influence directly in your life, but they are influencing more on our spiritual level, spiritual evolution and development. Now, 3rd house is all about communication and languages, actually. And you might be going back to some circle, of friendships, or some circle of friends, that you've been part of before. You might start quite a lot of socializing with people that you've been socializing before, some sort of group, small group. And for the next half of the year, it might be that you might start speaking the language that you've been, let's say, speaking before also could be possible, or learning before. Let's say you've stopped learning, but then now you will have a time and chance from the universe to again to resume those studies. Or third house also all about your relatives and siblings specifically. Seems like for the next half of the year, you might get much closer with your siblings and communicating with them back and forth if you have them, or it might be your neighbors if you don't have them, and your closer relatives. And there could be quite a lot of events and happenings around, like between you and your relatives and siblings, in that relationship. For some of you, it might be about new skills, but because these planets, they're going backwards, meaning those skills, you already have them and you had them, but for some reason let's say stop developing them, and now you will go back to those skills. You might be taking up again some lessons, trying those skills. For example, let's say you've been a swimmer, let's say good swimmer, and now you will go back to swimming lessons, to get in shape. It doesn't matter what kind of skills. It might be drawing, it might be singing, it might be coding. But the main point here that these two planets are moving backwards. So they are showing a kind of a retrospective view. They are giving you back experiences when you had in your past. So those things are coming back and you might be developing them, like going back to your past things, And also it's about, you might take up some courses and short-term trainings because of that. It's also a possibility. Let's say you've started some courses, but then you stop them and then now you are again resuming them. This might happen in the next half year. Beginning from July, by the way. Also, it's a short distance travels, and it might indicate for some of you visiting places that you've been before, somewhere not far, somewhere very close, range like proximity, and it might be that you might visit those places and people that you know well and that you've been before to those places. Third house is also driving, it's all about transportation. It might be that you will start driving again if you stopped, or it might be that you start again learning driving courses or repeating, let's say, and kind of rehearsing your driving skills. So this is your old third house. It might be playing out differently in your life, but the main topics I hope I gave you, and you got a understanding of for the next half year of these two planets, topics that will be coming up, popping up time to time in your head, let's say. Now let's move to the new moon. 6th of July, we have new moon, amazing, brilliant new moon in your relationship house, committed relationship house. That's an amazing, my dear Capricorns. It will happen at 14 degrees, meaning those of you who are born 2nd of January plus or minus 5 days will be affected the most. This is a gift for you, my dear Capricorns, from universe related to relationship, committed relationships, not those that we start dating and seeing each other, but those who are related to our husband or wife, spouse, or long-term partner, and also business partners, because 7th house, this committed relationship house, it's it doesn't matter, it might be in love or it might be in business, because when we get married we sign papers, when we have a business partner we also sign papers. So everything that is committed is relationship is in your 7th house, my dear Capricorns. Now this new moon is amazingly positive one. New moon will be supported by a bunch of planets and mainly by Saturn, which will make amazing support to that new moon. Saturn is the planet of hard work and discipline and also responsibilities. You love responsibilities, my dear Capricorns. And Saturn is your ruler because of that. Saturn is that planet that gives you that stamina to reach your goal step by step, and from small to the bigger, that's how Saturn approach anything. Now Saturn, your ruler, making perfect support to that new moon. And another planet, the main one, is Mars. Mars is our engine planet. Mars is impatient, but it's the planet of get-go planet, do things, make things happen planet. And Mars actually gives us that drive to achieve things in life. Now Mars firing up your another relationship house. It's a true love house where we fall in love, where it's a flirt and romance house, 5th house. Now Saturn and Mars, and Saturn will be, by the way, in your house of signing contracts, in your house of communication, and in your house of all things, thoughts and topics that we talk and new ideas. And it seems like during this new moon, there might be some new sort of idea happening between you and your partner. It doesn't matter. You might apply it to your business partner, or you might apply it to your love partner. It might be that there might be some offer on the table, either in love, either in business, to get committed, to the relationship. Might be proposal, or might be a business proposal, and for some of you guys, and especially those of you who are born in the beginning of January, 2nd of January, plus or minus 5 days, your relationship might get a boost. It might get more solid, because Saturn will require that for sure. It might get more serious, and you might take up next step in your relationship. And in your business, the same, especially those business owners, my dear Capricorns. If you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, then you might get a business partnership offer, and you might expand your business if you have. Or if you don't have, then this new moon will have that amazing start for your business that you wish to actually begin and open the doors, and it's amazing news, because Saturn is exactly signing contracts house, and new moon is happening in your relationship, committed business partnership house, and Mars is exactly in your business house. Now, for those of you who are crazy busy, let's say in current life stage around your business, building a brand, a name for yourself and for your work, then this new moon will be amazing start for that. For some of you, my dear Capricorns, it might be news about pregnancy. So, you might get so happy about this, around this new moon, 6th of July. It might be news that your partner is pregnant, or you're pregnant, or you're becoming parents. Or if you already, let's say, pregnant, then around the 6th of July, you might give birth to a new soul, your baby, and you might become parent, which I'm happy about for you if that's your case, my dear Capricorns. And always allow any new moons, any full moons, 10 days of influence, because they bring news within 10 days. They appear, so 5 days before and 5 days after. So whole beginning of July, like 10 days of July, this new moon might bring the news of its own, into your life. And each month we get one new moon and one full moon, and this month, those two are activating your relationship area, your relationship part of your life, and also about yourself, like me house. But we will get there when we will talk about full moon. Now let's move to Mars on 15th of July. 15th of July, Mars, planet of activity, it's our engine, as I said, it's our drive. It's a bit of impatient planet. It makes things done. This planet will make connection with Uranus. Now, Uranus is the planet of surprises. It's the planet related to electricity in astrology and electrical shocks. Now, no wonder, you never know in astrology what kind of surprises might it bring into your life. Now, when Mars and Uranus, connect, it's a bit of a blast, don't you think? Like, it's a bit of an explosive aspect, but it's happening in your house of true love, in your house of flirt, and romance, and actually house of joy, because 5th house is the house of joy in astrology. 5th house, it's where we are happy, where we create, where we shine with our talents. That's why 5th house rules our talents and skills, and it's called creative house. It's our creativity, shines. Whether you're an actor or singer or dancer or anything related to art and creativity, everything is here in the 5th house. Also, 5th house is our children. What we create, of course, we create our children out of, from the position of joy. Don't we? So we also create business like it's a baby. When we open our business, we work as twice or 10 times, tenfold harder, and we are creating it like it's our own baby, it's our own child. So that's why your business and children also in the 5th house. And of course, because it's a house of joy, the part, in the natal chart is also house of joy. It's the house when we are happy, when we busy with our talents, with our hobbies, with our creative part, and also love for our life and for ourselves. And of course, romance is here. When we fall in love for the first time is also here. Now, I hope I'm clear. Everything around fifth house. Now, Mars and Uranus, they're making connection, as I said, in your fifth house, but there is a third planet, Neptune, that will make less explosive that aspect, that is making that aspect on a different level, on a very positive. Looking at your chart, I see it as a more positive aspect, these two making, Mars and Uranus, thanks to Neptune, because Neptune is the planet of magic and imagination. And Neptune will be situated in your house of signing contracts and in your third house, your surrounding, your immediate surrounding, people that you talk to daily. Now, Neptune will make amazing support to both of them. It will, send a beam to both of these two planets, like Mars and Uranus, and make their connection more gentle, more soft, and it might be, actually materialized as a sudden invitation for an event. Because fifth house is also those creative area, you might get invitation to join some event where you will be happy also if you will attend that event, because Uranus is the planet of surprises. As I said, you never know how it might, manifest in your life. But one thing to remember is that it might be related to your children. They might give you sudden boost of happiness and like pride, let's say, that you're proud for them, or also for their, let's say, achievements, or if you've been wishing to get pregnant and have a baby, this will be your news from the universe, my dear Capricorns, and the gift from universe. Around 15th of July, you might know that you are pregnant, and quite, dramatically, because Uranus is that kind of surprise planet. Or if you don't want, then take good care, in July, so that you will not have this news all of a sudden. But according to your chart, it seems like a positive news. It's a blessing, my dear Capricorns, and it's a gift from universe, whatever is related. And also for business owners, my dear Capricorn, for you guys, it might be about your business. If you say it's not about pregnancy, it's not about kids, then it might be about your business. You might get sudden, achievement and recognition for your business. You might sign a paper, very important paper and agreement around your, what you do around your work and around your business. This is exactly for those who are entrepreneurs, my dear Capricorns, not those who work 9 to 5, jobs. Now, and for those who are trying to open, their own thing. Now, and also, this is amazing aspect for those who are in creative area, actors, dancers, singers, Capricorns, my dears, whoever related to art, models, photographers. You might get sudden news, positive news around, because Neptune is also rules those professions, those occupations, and it's here involved in this aspect. It seems like you might get a contract. You might get an offer from agent who will showcase your talents to the whole world, and it will be sudden offer and happy one. And it might actually involve immigration somewhere. It might involve moving somewhere. Same with the kids, by the way. For those of you, if it's related to your kids, it might actually involve your kids. They might move somewhere, or they might immigrate somewhere, actually. Now, and mainly, of course, because fifth house is the house of true love, you are the lucky ones, my dear Capricorns, in July, because you might meet someone special. All of a sudden, there might be, fireworks of love for someone or from someone towards you. That new person in your life will be very special, and this is exactly the aspect of falling in love from first sight. This might happen to you too, my dear Capricorns, and it might take you by surprise. It might take you that of a sudden turn that you won't expect, actually, this. And it might be over internet, or dating apps, because Mars naturally rules your 11th house in your chart. So it might be actually over social media. You might instantly fall in love, my dear Capricorns. This was like especially for those of you who are single, kind of a gift from universe. Now, let's talk about this Mars action planet, our drive. On 20th of July, it moves into your next, after connection with Uranus in your 5th house, it moves into your 6th house. Now, 6th house is all about your health, it's all about your daily life and, of course, work. Now, when Mars moves into your house of work, seems like you will get busy by the end of July at work. It might be quite a lot of assignments coming, quite a lot of, meetings with your colleagues, with your managers, and also it might be actually search. You might start searching maybe for new opportunities, job opportunity or position. You might get very busy at work. And for some of you, it's very natural for Capricorns to get busy at work. But for some of you, actually, it might be not about work. It might be about your health situation, your well-being situation. When Mars hits 6th house, I love this aspect myself, because in my life it manifests as hitting a gym. I'm not so much of a consistent person when it comes to gym and sport. So whenever Mars hits my 6th house, I tend to go actually to gym, and I will, I tell myself that I will do this every time. But when Mars moves out of my 6th house, I kind of stop it. But in your case, it might be, you might also go to a gym, or you might start exercising more consistently. When Mars in the 6th house, it gives us that drive to take care of our body, to take care of ourselves and our health. It's also all about your regime and routine, like what we do daily, about your schedule. You might be quite busy around those topics too by the end of July, when Mars goes. And Mars is that planet, that literally manifests in our life. So this is we feel it directly. Now 21st of July, we have full moon in your sign, my dear Capricorns. This one is interesting one, because this is second full moon, because last month in June we had same full moon in your sign, in your first house. In July, end of July, exactly 1 month later, we have another one in your sign. You see, that's how universe is trying to tell you something about your personal self, because it's happening in your first house. And this full moon is quite powerful one, because it's in conjunction, meaning in connection with Pluto, planet of transformation and planet of rebirth. And Pluto will be situated in your house of values, what you value in life. And it's also second house. And second house is the house of resources, your income, and self-esteem. And income and self-esteem, they are directly connected. How much you value yourself, that's how much you earn. And that's why in astrology, second house is also your values and your earning income, like earning money. Now Pluto will be there, and it's amazing, because Pluto is the planet of big money. It's the planet of huge money, and it's transiting your second house. For the next 20 years, there might be quite a lot of Capricorns who will accumulate a wealth, while Pluto will be transiting for the next 20 years, your second house of resources. Now that full moon, coming back to full moon, that full moon will be happening at 29 degrees, meaning those of you who are born 17th of January, plus or minus 5 days, will be affected the most. This full moon will be speaking directly to you, my dear Capricorns, especially those who are born on the 17th of January, plus or minus 5 days. Full moon will be supported by Mars, planet of action, which is, transiting your 6th house of work and your well-being, and Neptune, planet of magic, which is transiting your house of signing contracts and also your siblings and your immediate surroundings. Seems like quite a lot of transformation is happening around your self-portrayal, because first house is all about appearance, and it's all about our core self, like what you show to the world and what you portray to the world, how you are being portrayed, and also your priorities, your plans, and your wishes. This is all about your first house. It's all about me house. And full moon, you've got two full moons this year, and just 1 month apart between them. Seems like universe is trying to tell you to transform something within you, and to renew yourself. And Pluto is there, planet of transformation and rebirth. Seems like you are trying to juggle your priorities. You are trying to prioritize, and the universe is actually telling you to prioritize yourself over anything else. Your well-being, your plans, your wishes, and your future, and what you portray, to the world. When this kind of full moon appears, it more like gives us this vibration to close off from the world. But I would advise you, do not do it. Try to be as much as open as possible. I know for you guys, my dear Capricorns, it's a rather hard job, but still try to be open, try to be communicative, especially with your inner circle of friends and family, because Neptune, magical planet, is exactly in that part of your life, in your chart, well, that is in your immediate surrounding. Try to be communicative with your friends a lot, and close friends and your close family. And it seems like you're transforming also that part by transforming yourself. Some people might be falling off actually from your circle, because you've got some understanding of yourself and what you want for future, and somehow some people won't fit that picture of your future, my dear Capricorns, and it's normal. Now Mars is, in your house of work. It seems like also what your well-being is prioritized, and what you want to do in life, like day-to-day work. Seems like you are deciding, actually trying to decide, or trying to see your future work, trying to know yourself, how to what kind of skills you have and what you want to do in life. And because Mars naturally rules your house of hopes and wishes for future, it seems like you've got quite a lot of thoughts and transformational kind of vibrations around yourself, your core self. And what is your appearance also here, how you look like. You might be paying attention to your health, or hitting a gym, paying attention to your shape, how you look like, and your body weight. It's all about first house, me house. And it's amazing full moon. It's a very positive one. It seems like the conclusions that you will get, around this full moon will be in your benefit, actually, to your benefit. Now, full moons, they are usually about exactly conclusions to the situations that been already there, or they actually work like a big bulb of light. They show something to you. They put your attention to something or some situation or someone that it needs your immediate action and decision. So that's how full moons work. Now, and lastly, we have Sun on 2nd of July moving into your financial house. And Sun is our, life. It's the giver of life and light of our universe. And when Sun moves into your 8th house, your attention switches to back to your resources, back to those shared resources, meaning your investments or inheritance, or your actually health also. And it might be around conception topics, and also intimacy. Your sex life gets a light, because Sun, when moves into 8th house, it usually our lives revolves around those topics that I mentioned. One or two might come into your life, but not all. Or if you're a student, it might be about your scholarships and funding. Or if you are in a divorce settlement, it might relate to alimony and the money from that divorce and all those things. Now, this was your horoscope for July. Stay tuned for August. And don't forget to check your rising sign, meaning ascendant, and moon sign, because those are very important, and it will give you a fuller picture of the month. Me personally, I always check my ascendant and moon sign. For current part of my life, my ascendant working much, much influential, let's say much harder. And my mom, for example, for her, it's her moon sign is very important. So do make sure to, check those signs and stay ahead of time and know what, universe is trying to tell you. From my horoscopes, of course, and I will always help you to figure that out. Love you all. Bye-bye.